This is TomoNews for Friday, November 11th. Trump's first Benjamin in office. Canadian immigration website crashes as Trump is elected U.S. president. As the scales tipped in favor of Donald Trump last night, many Americans started to consider possible exit strategies. The friendliest alternative reality? Well, Canada, of course. Guess everyone had the same idea at the same time because Canada's immigration website literally crashed. Everything's fine now, but if you're looking to escape to the Great White North, there are a few things you can do to get there. One thing you can do is enroll in a college or university in Canada. You can stay on a student visa and try to find work after you graduate. If you're already past the schooling stage of your life, applying for a job under the North American Free Trade Agreement may be your ticket to entry. Or maybe consider investing in a seasonal home. Foreign ownership won't get you a visa, but Americans are allowed to visit Canada for up to 6 months at a time. And if all those avenues don't work for you, try meeting a nice Canadian and get hitched. Once married, your new partner can sponsor you for immigration. Granted, all those options come with their own sets of strings and hurdles, and unfortunately, fear of Trump isn't enough to achieve political refugee status for asylum. Sorry! That being said, if thoughts of moving to Canada offer a beacon of light in the darkness of an impending nightmare, then dream on, America. Dream on. The Simpsons renewed for record-breaking 29th and 30th seasons. One of the longest-running shows on television is about to run even longer, after Fox reported that it had renewed The Simpsons for 2 more seasons. That means Homer and the rest of the fam will be back for an unprecedented 29th and 30th season. The series will get to 669 episodes, becoming the most for any scripted television show, outgunning the record held by Gunsmoke, which shot 635. In the words of Homer, "Take that, Gunsmoke! You lost a race you didn't even know you were running." Even with a rigged system, The Simpsons has managed to rack up 32 Emmys. The show has a ride at Universal Studios, and even a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Its influence on pop culture has been so great, it's been studied at universities. With the show averaging 7.2 million viewers across all platforms this season, the decision was a no-brainer for Fox. Good thing too, because brains there are in short supply. So what's next for Homer and the gang? You know, we could use a new first family. Scuba diver survives 18-hour ordeal in shark-infested waters. A 68-year-old man is lucky to be alive after spending 18 hours lost at sea this week. John Lucky Les Brierley was swimming off the coast in Queensland, Australia, at a dive spot called Yongala Wreck when he got pulled away by a powerful current. A friend alerted authorities when he didn't return. But little did his buddy know that Brierley was being pulled some 50 kilometers away into shark-infested waters. The deep blue had taken him to Cape Upstart. That area is reportedly home to sharks. A search and rescue was launched for him, and he was eventually pulled from the water at around 11 a.m. on Monday. Thankfully, Brierley survived the ordeal and was treated for a mild case of hypothermia. Well, at least we got legal weed. In the aftermath of Trump's election victory, Americans disappointed by the outcome are searching for silver linings. Something. Anything that makes them feel better. To them we say, put this in your pipe and smoke it. As voters chose the next president, 5 states also gave people a vote on legalizing marijuana for medical or recreational purposes. Of those 5, 4 said yes. Of those 4, 3 said hell yes. 56% of Californian voters opted to legalize pot, with Massachusetts and Nevada close behind at 54%. Maine was pretty split on whether to spark the spliff, but lit up in the end with 50.3% of voters giving a green thumbs up. Unfortunately, Arizona isn't ready to let people just get high for fun, and 52.1% of voters rejected the proposition. Medical marijuana is still okay in cactus country, though. Adding these 4 to a list that includes Alaska, Colorado, Oregon, and Washington, 20% of the US is now cannabis-friendly. Woo! On top of that, Florida, North Dakota, and Arkansas voted to legalize marijuana for medicinal purposes, bringing the total up to 28 states, plus the District of Columbia. Of course, marijuana is still illegal for any type of use under federal law, but the Obama administration officially agreed not to interfere with state marijuana laws. So unless President Trump decides to add potheads to the list of people he wants to piss on, stoners of America rejoice! Dreams of the White House went up in a puff of smoke, but you won the greenhouse, and that's something to be happy about, right? Airbag bike helmets are safer than foam ones. With millions around the world riding bicycles, accidents are inevitable. Most of us know that wearing a helmet reduces the risk of serious injury, but it turns out the type of helmet also matters. Researchers from Stanford University have found that helmets equipped with airbag technology offer 5 times more protection than your standard foam ones. Conventional helmets may prevent skull fractures during accidents, but don't often protect against concussions and other similar head injuries. In lieu of foam as protection, airbag helmets are inflated with helium and worn like a collar around the neck. Sensors monitor the cyclist's normal movements and deploy automatically in the event of a collision. Upon deployment, an inflated hood is released. The hood covers most of the head and absorbs shock during impact. The helmets are made by a Swedish company and currently only available in Europe. Singapore tests out delivery by drone. Aircraft manufacturer Airbus is set to trial a drone delivery service, which, if successful, could potentially lead to tests of flying passenger taxis. A new drone delivery service to be tested in Singapore next year will see drones being used to deliver parcels. During the trial, drones will navigate a network of delivery and pickup points across the National University of Singapore campus. These drones, also known as octocopters because of their 8 blades, will fly automated on routes. These routes will be flown inside interconnecting sky corridors throughout the campus. Upon arrival, the drone will unload the parcel automatically, and its recipient will be sent a delivery notification. Airbus says if the drone testing is shown to be safe, it may potentially increase acceptance of passenger flight testing in Singapore. The company has been developing an electric flying vehicle named the City Airbus for several years, with the aim of reducing traffic congestion in cities. Airbus believes that people will use vehicles such as these in the future, and that they could be operated via transport providers such as Uber. Would you take a ride in a flying taxi? Sound out below and let us know. U.S. designates electric vehicle charging corridors. Taking your electric car out further than work or a nearby shopping mall is about to get a lot easier, thanks to a new initiative launched by the Obama administration. The U.S. federal government plans to establish 48 electric vehicle charging corridors across the country to encourage the adoption of electric vehicles. The 48 corridors will be designated by the Department of Transportation. They will cover nearly 25,000 miles, crossing 35 states and the District of Columbia. The plans call for either an existing or a planned charging station within every 50 miles along these corridors. New signs approved by the Federal Highway Administration will help drivers identify and locate these charging stations. The signage and placement of charging stations at 50-mile intervals will help overcome what analysts call range anxiety, one of the main barriers to using electric vehicles for longer trips. Electric cars such as the Volkswagen e-Golf, Chevrolet Spark, and BMW's i3 can travel only 80 miles on a single charge. Among the 48 vehicle charging corridors are Interstate 5 from San Diego to the Canadian border, Interstates 10, 20, 30, 35, and 45 in Texas, and Interstate 80 from Nebraska to New York City.